Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel and welcome back to our Winter Spectacular. As we wind down today, though, we still have top 10 lists to talk about. And right now I want to talk about something that's always near and dear to my heart, and that is top 10 interesting or well-implemented themes. I like games that have a cool theme to them. We certainly have a gazillion zombie games. We have a gazillion trading in the Mediterranean games, generic fantasy, go up in space, whatever it might be. But these games either have something unique about them theme-wise, or they did the theme in a really good way. So let's get started here with number 10, and that is Tasty Humans. This is a game in which you are a giant monster, whether it's a dragon or an ogre and stuff, and humans are coming out to fight you, and then you eat them, and they go in your stomach. Now, it's not as gross as it sounds. It just shows pieces of armor, and it's kind of a fill your stomach as fast as you can with the different pieces, and you get points for having helmets next to other helmets. It's a decent game, but I thought the theme was funny. It's done in a very silly way, so that's Tasty Humans, also a great name for a game. Number 9 is a game I found a bit disappointing in the actual game play. There's some problems with it. It's too long, but the theming of it's fantastic, and that's Fujikoro. Now, Fujikoro is a dungeon crawl, but it's a dungeon crawl. It's not done in your generic fantasy. It's a dungeon crawl done with dragons from the Far East, and they're really cool-looking dragons. And it also has a Minecraft edition where you build your weapons out of cubes, and you can build the different cubes in your weapon, determine how good that weapon is. These are two amazing concepts with a good production. It's unfortunate the game does not rise to the levels of these ideas, but I gotta give them credit for these ideas. The theming of the game with these dragons themselves are really cool, but then also the idea of the cubes making up your weapons I like a lot. This would have been number 1 had the game been fantastic, but even without all that, I still think it's a really neat idea. Number 8 is The Loop. Now, The Loop takes the concept that we've all loved, the Groundhog Day concept, and brings it into a board game. Now, it's not the first time it's been done. Other games have done it. But this does it in a competitive way where you're moving around the board and you get to take an action, but then you can kind of take that action again, pick a card back up in your hand, play that card again if you meet the right circumstances. And that's kind of a fascinating idea to this game. It's a cooperative game. You're all working together, trying to stop monsters. It has a unique, cool art theme to it. But I like the theming of it itself. It felt different than most sci-fi games that are out there. Number 7 is The Alpha. This is a simple family game, but one I really liked because it's about you running a pack of wolves. That's just a cool idea. It's a simple game, and you're sending these wolves out to attack different animals. Go out and get the buffalo. Go out and get the rabbits. Some animals are more valuable than others, but you work together or against other packs. You can even go raid the farmers' animals. Of course, the farmer might shoot your wolf. And I like this concept. It's a simple area control game for families with a lot of luck involved, but I like the theming of it. It's just neat, The Alpha. Number 6 is the Princess Bride adventure book game. Now, I think Princess Bride is one of the greatest movies of all time. I love it. So I had high expectations to this game. It's not the first Princess Bride game, but I would posit it's the first good one. This is a storybook game where you're playing through different pages of a book, a cooperative game. It's not a particularly difficult cooperative game, but it is a fun one as you're working together to read this story to the kid before the kid gets bored and stops you from reading the story. And so each page has a different thing that you need to do. You might need to make the two people fall in love. You might have your ship escape the ship of the Men in Black. You need to storm the castle. Have fun doing so. And the artwork is great. The story works well. It's a little linear, but I like it a lot, and I thought it brings the movie to a board game. Number 5 is Godzilla Tokyo Clash. Godzilla Tokyo Clash is Godzilla, and it's Godzilla done right. Just like Princess Bride, I believe there's a lot of Godzilla games out there that just don't do a good job at bringing that. Here, you are Godzilla or King Ghidorah or one of these giant cockroach. I don't know the names of all the monsters. And you're marching around and just beating the snot out of each other. It's fun. You blow up buildings, you throw tanks at each other, you do all kinds of crazy stuff, but it's also very simple. That's what Godzilla should be. That's what this game does, and it does so really well. Number 4 is Red Outpost. Red Outpost has a unique theme to it in that you are a bunch of communists in the height of communism from Russia who got a spaceship and go and settle another planet. And then you farm it and do stuff. Okay, well, the farming thing, how's that different? Well, it's done so in a communal way to some degree. All the resources you get are owned by everybody. Workers' happiness goes up or down based on how much they have to work. You can force someone to work in a forced labor camp. This game doesn't make communism look amazing, but it takes the mechanisms of that and puts them in a board game in a way that I didn't expect it to be there. It's unique. It doesn't necessarily look unique, although it has amazing artwork, but it really does feel that way. So that's Red Outpost. Number 3 is Mariposas, butterflies. Lots of eyes were on this game. The next big game from Elizabeth Hargrave, who brought us Wingspan about birds. Now we have Mariposas, which is butterflies. But this game takes the butterflies, and you start from Mexico, and they migrate up. And the farther north you go, the more points you can get. But then you get back down to Mexico, and you get points that way by coming back. I think it does the migration patterns of butterflies in a really well done way. I learned about butterflies playing this game. Of course, having a sheet of facts about butterflies in the rule book doesn't hurt. But the concept of how the butterflies fly around, butterflies die off, it's really well done. It's a neat game, and it feels different than many games that are out there. Mariposas. Elizabeth Hargrave strikes again. Number 2 is a game I did not expect that I would be a big fan of, and that's Pan Am. Now, the Funko design team, they make all kinds of thematic games from Funkoverse to the Godzilla game. Pan Am is about the airline Pan Am, and it's spread across the world. And you are a rival airplane company who is eventually going to sell out the Pan Am probably, and you want to buy shares in this new Pan Am. It's a really good strategy game, but this theme works. I like the idea of this one airline spreading across the world, and you are other airlines, and eventually they're going to buy you out, and you're like, well, yes, please, where's my check? That's a cool concept, and I think this game does so in a cool, neat way. I wasn't expecting to like this game as much as I did. And my number 1 interesting theme of 2020 is Chronicles of Crime 1400. In my review of Chronicles of Crime 1400, I said that the 1400s is an era I'm not particularly interested in. And yet, they still brought it to life. Chronicles of Crime, this is a sequel to Chronicles of Crime, the modern one, is just one of my favorite games. To play with an app and find a criminal story does well, but when you play this game, it brings that theme to life. It doesn't hurt that there's music and sound effects in the background and all the different intrigue, and this person is having an affair with that person, and that person's the brother of that person, and no, I did not know that. I love how this brings everything to life, and so that is my favorite thematic game of 2020. And I could have gone on and on and on. And in fact, there's some games that aren't on this list that are very thematic that are on my top 10 of all time. So you can go check that out for some more great games. Just really neat stuff. So there you have it. What are some games that you thought brought new, interesting themes or really brought their themes to life? Let me know in the comments. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Winter Spectacular on the Dice Tower.